This is the weirdest fucking day of my life. I'm telling you, man. It's weird, bro. I truly love where I'm at in life. I went through, so I've always, since I was a kid, baby, since I remember, I always had this ideal, and leave it, cut it, I don't give a fuck. I've always had this suicidal ideation thing. And it was like whenever I'd have trauma in my life, no matter how bad that trauma was, and trauma started super early, you know, and it's so not even relative to what's happening now in my life. So like, I'm not just gonna touch on it and leave. But every time there's trauma, I always use that as like, you know, if this gets bad enough, I have an ejection handle cord, you know, or I can just say, see ya, bye-bye, you know. And that was powerful, man, for like 40 fucking years, you know. But, it's not where I'm at. I'm really grateful. I don't have that anymore. It's gone. Now, it's been 40 years. And it's not like poor me. And I was always strong enough to stick around for the people that love me, you know. But I love this. What's happening, my wife and my family, my friends, my parents. I mean, just, you would think it'd be like, oh, now this is great. I'm here for this shit. I don't give a fuck how bad it gets, you know? And that really started when I met Rachel, you know, and I still struggle with some stuff in that transition, but, you know, our family, sandwiched with this community, and just purpose. Have a fucking purpose beyond whatever the fuck I was doing before. It's fine, but it wasn't for me. Any of it. Like, I want to see the end. And that's a whole new anxiety that I don't want. You said, like, fuck it. If it doesn't work out, did me a favor. Now I'm like, I hope they put enough fuel in this plane. Because I want to see the end, you know? You.
In the last decade, the population of Bourbon, Missouri has been declining. But what they've lost in people, they've made up for in whiskey barrels. And like the phoenix rising from the ashes, one family is building something, an empire. Now, if I told you this story from the beginning, you would never believe me. So we need to start here and now.
Today we're going to do a Myers cocktail. It's got a lot of good stuff in it, vitamins and whatnot. We're going to put glutathione in there. From what I understand, that grabs like free radicals and flushes them from your body and cleans out your liver and all that stuff.
In order to rule his expanding kingdom, and in preparation for a new mission, Jarrod has turned to biohacking, a way to use modern medicine to tune his body to be more efficient and to help him serve his broader mission.
Like within these guardrails, it keeps me from. If I do have to drink during the day, if I do have like an insulin spike or a dopamine, if I'm chasing dopamine, I won't go eat a bunch of junk. My body will say, "Nope, you can't do that."
How are you?
I was telling them that you got my liver from like 140 over 85 to like 40 over 20.
Yeah.
And literally it was like 90 days.
Yeah. Liver enzymes normal for the first time in how many years?
Oh, a decade and a half, maybe two.
All right, so we've prayed to the vain god.
Shut up.
Jarrod does not allow me more than one attempt.
Yeah.
And I will have to hurt you if I do because I'm on a run. Several-month run.
Are you?
No second
Don't
attempts.
talk like that.
I know. Shouldn't have done that.
Fuck me, man.
Hey, if I don't feel it, I'm not confident.
Whatever, dude.
We're gonna
cut. Or whatever.
Well, there it is.
I gave you a good thing,
trusty.
hon. Yeah. It's the only way I know.
You have to bring me a bottle before my client comes.
Dude.
So he comes every month. So it'll be like 3 weeks.
So she's member number 1,000.
Yes.
Really?
Jarrod was here one day and he was like, "Oh, we're up over 9." We had been talking about how many for a while. So I logged into my computer and looked to see how many members they had, and I was like, "You can't have 999 members." I don't even drink whiskey bourbon at all, but I'm a member.
She's a fucking
number
member.
1,000.
I think she just gives it out to clients.
That's what I do. That's why I want that bottle, because these people I used to work with at the hospital, they'll member up.
Just text me, man.
I will.
We have a mission to go on.
What are you doing?
We're going to Kentucky and meeting Jason Calori, the Mash and Drum, and Tim Condon's coming. He's our business strategy guy. He's been kind of behind the scenes for a couple of years, and he's a friend. And we're meeting Green River, and they're gonna let us kind of take over their facility. I've hand pick $100,000 worth of barrels, hand pick them.
That's awesome.
It is fucking cool, man. I love it. So excited.
Jarrod's mind never strays too far from the mission. He plans to expand on Barrel King, his membership-based whiskey club.
All right. See you guys very nice to meet you.
And in order to accomplish his mission, he's recruiting a small army of tastemakers.
We have to move kind of fast for these things to work. I feel like we have a window, and I just need to get that part over of being nervous about not being able to pay bills. I think that Barrel King can't live in this bubble. I think it needs to connect to people and things and be a little more expansive, because that's what life's about, diversity and fun and opening up and being vulnerable. So we're gonna do these different labels, with people, I say creators, but really honestly people we love, that I have close relationships with, and I believe are better, they help me understand whiskey.
So, my name is Jason Calori. I am here at Green River looking to get some barrels for my first ever whiskey brand. What's happening now has just been a whole nother roller coaster of success, emotions, and just everything kind of wrapped up into one. We're all a little bit full of shit. I mean, I get it. But there are certain people in the whiskey community and the whiskey business that I had met that I knew were really full of shit. And then to meet Jarrod from the Barrel King side, who, as I was getting approached with different offers, not only would he let me be me, but he would also do right by the whiskey. He's pedal to the metal, a lot of ideas, a lot of just the way he initiates conversations is very interesting, because he goes from I'm thinking about doing this, and then about a week later when I talk to him, he's like, we're doing it.
It's his show, and so I'm looking at he's gonna pick what he wants and says he likes what he wants, and we're gonna get that, but when he goes in and uses those barrels, I get the leftovers in a way, right? So we'll have the leftovers sitting. I might be able to use those myself or not. He'll have to be yeah, you can use them or whatever. This is his thing, not mine. I'm really I'm not interjecting on purpose, because this is his show. It's his this is his chicken to fuck, I get more excited about other people than I definitely do myself. I'm not here. I'm just kind of, I don't know, a conduit or something. I just see things that can work together and bring people together to form something bigger than the single pieces.
Got the feeling in your bones, make you feel right at home. Honey, does it well, keep me dancing till I'm dead. 'Cause I could run a mile like this,
I'm very straightforward, and I know what I like. And I think that's very important when you want to create a whiskey brand, because you don't want to get wrapped up in all the bullshit that goes on behind the scenes with that.
For the last few years, Green River Distilling has been offering an expansive palette to whiskey blenders across the country. But the Barrel King and Jason Clory are looking for a diamond in the rough, a needle in the haystack.
It was important to me to bring Kentucky whiskey to the brand, because I think that's what people really look for overall. I have been able to taste the evolution of Green River and see where they're going. And the quality of whiskey that I have been tasting over the last several years has been nothing short of miraculous. And the mash bills that they work, I think, was a big deal to me. I like a higher rye mash bill. We saw Warehouse G today. It was a whole different animal. Stuff like that, I think, is what plays into the variety of mash bills and the variety of tastes that you can utilize. So that's really what it was for me.
It became very apparent that Warehouse G had a mystical quality.
I think it's interesting to taste the differentiating, not only in the ages, but when you want the flavor profile that you're looking for, what could be, what's right where it needs to be, what needs something extra, what you want to blend, what you don't want to blend. Green River has such an interesting flavor profile across the spectrum. You can get into really heavy citrus, cherry tobacco, maple syrup. So there's a really nice array of flavors you can work with Green River. So tasting through all these different ages and how it's going to change over time, what we can work with. You know, just as far as like base attributes, I want viscosity, I want long finish, I want rich flavor. And then to be able to blend those together in such a way that it keeps it interesting yet unique, that's the goal.
Ain't looking bad. Ain't looking bad.
This is like this loud teenager or something, or like and this is like whenever he becomes a man and he's gonna knock you the fuck out, and then we're like, I'm afraid to even try this.
Just knows it. I mean,
This is like my first child. This is what I'm no, I'm serious.
That's good.
what is happening?
It's just like, it's so good. I am saving a special bottle for those occasions, and like this would be one of the bottles.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Ah.
Yeah.
I was about to say mine was a little more traumatizing
Yeah.
than my first child, but yes, equally as enjoyable in a way. We were really looking at it from the standpoint of like, we know each other's profiles pretty well and they're very similar. So for me, like you said before, some of that cherry tobacco, the citrus, having a nice oak influence, and just looking at what we had and kind of being able to taste through different lots at times and leaning on Wes and his expertise. And I think we were able to pull some pretty cool things that like I knew from the get-go. I was like, yeah, these are going to be winners.
I think also, when you talk about whiskey, when you meet people, it's really the palates that kind of bring you together. So me and him had very similar palates, as you just talked about. So I think when we were talking, every time he said, this is really good, you got to try this, you got to try this. I believed him, and he was always pretty spot on.
In the traditional sense, Jason is an outsider in the whiskey business. But he credits his ability to taste and blend exceptional whiskey to something deeper. His childhood, growing up in New York.
My mom, who's a single mom, when she was working 2-3 jobs a week, my grandma I would stay with her. And she, it was a very crazy aspect growing up, because my grandmother and my grandfather, they were right off the boat from Italy, and they would be cooking constantly. There was food all the time everywhere. It was not a bad situation. But I was always in the kitchen with her. So she would be cooking constantly, and I kind of learned from her. And I think a lot of the smells and the flavors and a lot of the experiences that I picked up were due to her, because she always was cooking something. So the savory notes and the sweet notes, and whether it was like cake that she was making or pizza she was baking, it all kind of coincided with that. It was just one of those things where I always go back to her, as far as like she's the one that made my palate and my senses like what it is. because was just that type of person. I'd be sitting at her house like on a Saturday morning watching Saturday morning cartoons, and I'd see a commercial for like a new cereal, and I'd be like, Grandma, and she didn't really know great English, so I'd write down the names of these new cereals I wanted to try. She would take them to the food store. She would show the list to like a clerk, and he would pull the boxes down, and she would come home, and I would have like all these cereals to try. So when I'm tasting whiskey, I'm like, this tastes like Cookie Crisp or Fruity Pebbles. Like, it's literally a callback to all the cereals like she got me, because my mom would never get me those cereals. She was, getting emotional here. She's she raised me, basically. Oh, it's always love. It's always love. Like, if you weren't eating her food, it was almost an insult to some degree. But a lot of Italian grandmothers are like that. It's like, eat my food. And she was always, trying to connect, I think, her love of cooking to whoever was eating it. And she just always had something on the ready. And she taught me to cook. And she also, I think, imparted a lot of drive within me, because I know how hard she worked every single day. So it was that, my grandfather, just the whole family aspect. It's like when you're an immigrant family, you're just like, you're 5 years old, go start a business. That's like what it felt like. Her meatballs would melt in your mouth. I never knew how she did it, because I try to replicate it today, and I think I get close, but it's still not hers. And plus, you have the seasoned pans and the pots and all the flavors that have been like cooked in there for over the last like 30, 40 years. You just can't replicate it. So I'll always remember the last like time I had her meatballs. It's crazy. So, yeah.
We were talking at dinner and how my whiskey channel started, and it was just kind of something to do because I didn't know anybody in Ohio when I moved there. And it just kind of took off into something else, and the people that I've met along the way, and just how all these different interconnectivities that I have, all these different people that I've met and all these connections that I made, just whether it be in passing, whether it be meeting people once or twice. I mean, I met Jarrod for the first time doing a specific blend for our bourbon group for the Master Journey Whiskey Club. And I'm like, wow, this guy's great. Right. Yeah, met Rachel, met the whole crew, your whole staff at the time. And obviously your whole operation has upgraded a lot since then. Mm-hmm. But as I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, this is so crazy. Like we did that whole experience with Jarrod. I met Ron way back in the day. And all these different things have come full circle to now Ron's in the position that he's in. And you're giving me this opportunity. It's hard not to get misty-eyed about it because it's crazy, man. It's like this was always maybe part of the plan, but now it's like we're here and it's happening.
Yep.
It's a little bit of a lost for words sometimes.
Predetermined, really.
Kind of.
It is.
Just the way how it works. Like you just being one of the best people I've ever met in whiskey, and then now you're in the position you are, and now we're sitting here and choosing whiskey for my brand because of Jarrod's generosity is insane.
And that's really the beautiful thing about whiskey, man, is like the people that you're introduced to, the stories that you hear, the rich history. Not to get too romantic on everybody, but like that's really what drew me into whiskey.
But that's what it is.
You can drink beer, you can drink vodka, you can drink gin, you can drink kombucha, whatever. But like nothing has that story like whiskey does. And like we're writing another chapter sitting here at the table today. That's pretty freaking cool.
You can never be too romantic. Ever. Bring it.
It's not even like we're doing something. It's truly just living in a certain way, and it's like exploratory, and I'm probably figuring out a lot by myself too. I don't know, but I'm a way cooler person today than I was 5 years ago. You might not even have talked to me, and that's the truth. And I'm not, maybe a little ashamed with that, but at least I'm doing it,
It's not lost on me, back here in Bourbon, Missouri, that these days we don't spend enough time in communion with one another, and that here in Whiskeyland we are forging a path towards a deeper connection. Yes, Jarrod and Rachel want to build an empire, but one centered around their family. And for them, that family begins at a regular fish fry across the street from their house where Jarrod's parents live. Jarrod's mother has been making this same dish since he was a kid, and the very smell of her cooking can be transcendent. It's a feeling of being anchored in something more than oneself. Their empire won't be built in a day, but rooting themselves in the invisible thread of family brings Jarrod and Rachel to a place of both gratitude and drive. They know why they're building the world they want to live in, and every day they make moves to extend this familial table to make room for their growing community. They're doing it not just for themselves, but for the people they love. I think we're all in search of our own seat at the table, and some of us even aspire to rule our own kingdom someday.